You're not angry because someone disrespected you. You're angry because you gave them the power to disturb your peace. Think about that. Every time someone triggers you, you hand over control of your emotions like it's nothing. But what if I told you that the Stoics, those ancient masters of inner strength, figured out how to control their emotions instantly, without shouting, suppressing, or escaping, and that you could do the same starting today? This video isn't just advice, it's a manual for mastering your mind. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to support our journey. And make sure you watch till the end, because the last principle might just flip your entire perspective on emotional control. Number 1, recognize that the emotion isn't you. The Stoics believed you're not your emotions. Epictetus taught that it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. When you feel anger, sadness, or frustration, it's not who you are, it's a signal of how you're interpreting the situation. This idea creates a gap, and in that gap is your freedom. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Most people react instantly. Horns blare, tempers rise. But a Stoic sees the space between stimulus and response. Instead of reacting, they pause. They ask, is this worth my peace? 9 times out of 10, it isn't. And in that moment of clarity, the emotion loses its grip. Real life example: Marcus Aurelius ran an empire and faced betrayal, war, and loss. Yet he trained himself to see his anger and fear as separate from his identity. He reminded himself daily, you don't have to turn this into something. And so he didn't. You can practice this too. Next time you feel overwhelmed, say to yourself, this is not me. This is just a wave. I don't have to ride it. Distance gives you power. Perspective gives you control. Number 2, don't react, observe. One of the Stoic secrets to emotional mastery is observation. Seneca wrote, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Emotions are not enemies, they're teachers. But most of us react instead of observe. Let's say someone insults you. The immediate urge is to respond, to defend your pride. But what if instead, you simply watch your reaction rise? Observe the anger boiling like steam in a pot without lifting the lid. That simple act of noticing without engaging breaks the cycle. Consider Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison. He didn't react with hate. He observed, he reflected, and he returned with peace and power. That's Stoicism in action. Observing doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in command. Try this. The next time something irritates you, don't say or do anything for 10 seconds. Just observe. Watch how your body tightens. Notice your thoughts race. And then decide if the emotion deserves a voice. Most won't. Number 3, control the story you tell yourself. Your emotions are fueled by the stories you tell yourself. The Stoics were master storytellers, not to entertain, but to reframe. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, if it's endurable, then endure it. If not, then stop complaining. Pain becomes purpose. Conflict becomes training. Let's say someone ghosted you. You could say, they disrespected me. I'm not good enough. Or, like a Stoic, you could say, they're acting according to their nature. I remain in control of mine. One story leads to pain. The other leads to peace. Same situation, different narrative. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing the most empowering perspective. A Stoic doesn't pretend pain isn't real. They just don't let it define them. They reframe setbacks as stepping stones, criticism as clarity, and obstacles as opportunities. Start by writing down the story you're telling yourself when you're upset. Then rewrite it through a Stoic lens. Ask, what else could this mean? How would a wise person view this? Control the story, and you control the emotion. Number 4, practice voluntary discomfort. Here's a powerful yet underrated Stoic tactic. Practice discomfort before discomfort finds you. Seneca recommended regular exposure to adversity, not because he loved suffering, but because it made real stress easier to handle. When you've walked through fire on your own terms, The heat of life doesn't scare you. Try cold showers, fasting, working out when you don't feel like it, silence when you want to lash out. These are emotional reps, training your mind to stay calm under pressure. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of preparation. Stoics prepare daily. Think of Navy SEALs. They simulate chaos to stay calm in war. Or Buddhist monks who sit in silence to strengthen mental discipline. Stoicism is no different. Every act of voluntary discomfort is a message to your brain. I'm in control, not my cravings, not my triggers. If you're someone who loses it over small things, chances are you haven't trained your emotional muscles. Start now. Choose one discomfort today, just one, and master it. Watch how your tolerance expands and your emotional reactions shrink. Number 5, use death as a mental reset, memento mori. The Stoic secret is death, not in a morbid way, but as a mirror. Memento mori means remember you must die. Marcus Aurelius used this every day to regulate his emotions. When something upset him, he asked, "Will this matter when I'm dead?" Almost always, the answer was no. Let's say someone disrespects you online. You want to respond to fight back, but then you remember, you're going to die. So are they. Suddenly, the insult loses its weight. You realize, life is too short for petty wars. Your energy is sacred. Don't waste it. This doesn't mean you live in fear of death. It means you live with clarity. When you keep your mortality in mind, you stop sweating the small stuff. You focus on what truly matters: peace, presence, and purpose. So next time you feel rage, fear, or envy rising, pause and whisper to yourself, memento mori. Use death not as a fear tactic, but as a compass pointing you back to calm. Because when nothing is promised, every second of peace is a treasure. Number 6, master the art of premeditation, premeditatio malorum. One of the most powerful emotional control tools the Stoics used was premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, but it's incredibly empowering. It means preparing your mind for what could go wrong before it actually does. So when life hits hard, you're not shocked, you're ready. Marcus Aurelius often imagined the worst-case scenarios before he began his day. He'd remind himself that people would be rude, selfish, and arrogant. Not because he was pessimistic, but because he was realistic. This mental preparation softened the emotional blow when those things actually happened. Think about your own life. How often have you been emotionally hijacked simply because you didn't expect setbacks? Your emotions spike when reality doesn't meet your expectations. But if you've already made peace with the possibility of failure, rejection, or betrayal, then when it comes, you're steady. You've rehearsed. You're prepared. Practice this every morning. Ask yourself, what could go wrong today, and how would the best version of me respond? You'll notice that imagining adversity doesn't make you anxious, it makes you calm. Because when the storm comes, you've already stood in the rain. Number 7, focus only on what you can control. At the core of Stoicism is this principle: control what you can, and let go of what you can't. Epictetus said it best: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Emotional chaos begins when we try to control what was never ours to command in the first place. You can't control traffic. You can't control the economy. You can't control how people treat you. But you can control your response. You can control your thoughts, your actions, your focus. When you shift your energy to what you can control, your emotions follow. You stop feeling helpless and start feeling powerful. Take Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who lost everything: his family, his freedom, his health. But he realized there was one freedom the Nazis couldn't take: his attitude. In his suffering, he chose purpose over bitterness. That is Stoic strength. That is ultimate control. Next time you feel emotional chaos, stop and ask, is this within my control? If not, let it go. If yes, take action. This simple filter reduces 80% of your stress instantly. Because real power is knowing where to place your attention. Number 8. Use logic to interrupt emotion. The Stoics believe that strong emotions are often the result of poor logic. Anger, fear, jealousy, they're born when we stop thinking clearly. So instead of drowning in feelings, they used logic like a sword, cutting through illusions and false beliefs. Let's say you feel jealousy. The emotion screams, "I'm not enough." But logic says, their success doesn't subtract from mine. When you confront the emotion with reason, it loses its grip. It fades like mist under the sun. This is why journaling was such a big part of Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius didn't just vent. He reasoned with himself. He'd write down his frustrations and dissect them. Is this thing really bad, or have I just decided it is? That's emotional alchemy, turning pain into power through perspective. You can apply this too. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and challenge the emotion with logic. Ask, what's the evidence for this feeling? Is this true, or just a story? Emotional clarity starts with rational questions. Use your mind to lead your heart. Number 9, delay the reaction when the battle. Here's a timeless tactic: delay the reaction. The Stoics didn't believe in impulsive behavior. They believed that time reveals clarity. And in the space between emotion and action lies your greatest strength. When someone says something offensive, your instinct might be to snap back. But what if you waited 30 seconds? Or better, 30 minutes? Seneca advised giving time for emotions to settle before responding, because a quick reaction often leads to regret, while a calm response creates respect. Think of a time you acted out of anger and later wished you hadn't. We all have those moments. But now imagine if you had just paused, breathed, counted to 10. How different would the outcome be? That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Start practicing the pause. Before you speak or act emotionally, delay. Let time be your ally. Let stillness be your strategy. In a world addicted to instant reactions, you'll stand out as the person who moves with purpose, not impulse. Number 10, train yourself through daily reflection. Daily reflection is the Stoic version of therapy. Before bed, Stoics would review their day, not with guilt, but with growth. They'd ask, where did I lose control today? What triggered me? How could I have handled it better? This habit turned mistakes into lessons, and lessons into wisdom. Marcus Aurelius didn't rely on motivation or feelings. He relied on review. That's why his journal still speaks to us centuries later. It was never about perfection, only progress. Each night was a chance to strengthen his character and course-correct his emotions. You can build this into your own life. Set aside 5 minutes at night. No phone, no distractions, just you and your mind. Ask, where did I act on impulse today? What emotion dominated me? How can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice creates emotional intelligence over time. Remember, growth isn't built in breakthroughs. It's built in reflection. If you want to control your emotions, you have to study them daily, like a warrior studies his weapon. Because every day is a battle, and your peace is the prize. If you made it this far, you're not just watching videos, you're building a new mindset. The Stoic path to emotional mastery isn't easy, but it's worth it. And you've already taken 10 powerful steps. Now it's time to apply them. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you're serious about becoming mentally stronger. Share this with someone who reacts too quickly, feels too much, or just needs a dose of Stoic calm. And always remember, your emotions are messengers, not masters. See you in the next one. Stay grounded, stay powerful, stay stoic.